Dots, the temperatures in Manor Lawn are 12 degrees. What do you think of that, huh? I'd say you had a little chuckle when you heard that, did you?
I did.
Jim, what's the temperature out like around the Copper Coast there? Have you been out for your constitutional walk yet?
My 2 kilometre, not yet. Not yet. I was waiting to talk to you and the Manor Lawn man.
The Manor Lawn man. The headline in the Irish Times last week was, what was it? Manor Lawn man wins award, something like that, huh?
Yeah. The News and Star.
The News and Star. Yeah. The Irish Times wouldn't get the importance of that Manor Lawn thing. Brian Doherty, thanks very much for taking our call this morning. Jim Nolan, playwright, thank you very much for taking our call. First thing is, Brian, congratulations. Well done.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted about it.
Well done. You were awarded as part of the 23rd Irish Times Irish Theatre Awards, Best Actor for your role as Agamemnon in Hecuba by Marina Carr, and a role of Dog in The Red Iron by a chap by the name of Jim Nolan, this up-and-coming new playwright. Tell us, you're in London at the minute. How are you keeping first?
We're doing good here. Myself, my wife, my daughter, we're in the house obeying the rules, and we're hoping the weather gets better. Although we had a lovely day yesterday, so that did help. And but yeah, we're the same as everybody else, dealing with it one day at a time, you know.
Have you space to go around the house, or have you a balcony, or have you a back garden? Because we see people on the telly going down to the parks, I suppose, in London in particular.
Yeah, I mean the house is not huge, and we have a little back garden, which is great. That is a good help, and we try get out each day for our bit of exercise, keeping well away from everybody else, you know. So I mean, we went for a walk yesterday, and we didn't see many groups of people, which was good, and people were keeping their distance from one another, you know, as far as we could see anyway. So
yeah,
it's I think we're probably, because with so much contact with Ireland, we're probably more aware of it all, because Ireland was a lot quicker in getting the rules out there and getting people aware of them. So I think we were probably a little bit ahead of the game there, you know.
Yeah. Jim, you have a nice area to walk around out there. I presume you do your 2 kilometres, then you turn back, then you go again, and then you turn back again. Is that it, or how does it work?
I kind of edit it out over the day. We get out early in the morning, Trudy and myself, and then we go back out in the evening, and we do stick to the perimeters. But we're terribly, terribly lucky compared to people, who aren't allowed out, like in certain parts of Europe or in the cocooning here. So we consider ourselves to be very fortunate in these terrible times. So great to be able to see a bit of sunlight.
It is, yeah. I'm going to talk about the Red Iron in a second. Firstly, a technically superb Aisling McGuckin shines in the title role. This is in Hecuba by Marina Carr, while Brian Doherty brings fully to life the contradictions of a well-written part of Agamemnon. Did you enjoy acting in that play, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, Marina Carr's script is phenomenal in that, and it's very unusual in its construction, because people talk about themselves in the third person. They describe what's happening, but what they're describing isn't always the reality of the piece. It's about who owns history in a lot of ways, who gets to tell the story. And it was a challenge, but one of those challenges that you live for in terms of how well it was written, and as well how well it was directed by Lynn Parker and wrought magic production of it. It was just a real exciting and difficult and great thing to be involved in, you know. So it was wonderful.
Yeah, and again, history, as the cliche goes, is written by the winners, but she effectively turned it around. I won't ask you, obviously, the politically important question, who's the better writer, herself or Jim Nolan? That would be...
Go on, ask him.
OK, go on, Brian. Who's the best? The line will suddenly go down.
I always find those questions crazy anyway, because to compare one with the other is nonsense in a lot of ways. You know, they're so.
I don't mind the comparison. She's a wonderful writer. Can I say, Damien? I happen to have seen Dots. I travelled up there to see a matinee performance of Dots doing Agamemnon and Hecuba, And we were about to start rehearsal 3 weeks later, and I was in awe of what I was looking at that afternoon. And just as a director, I was saying, I'm going to have my hands full with this guy. Even though I'd worked with him all my life, I was very much aware this was an actor at the very top of his game. So it kind of raised the bar for us all when he came down to us a few weeks later.
So is he kind of like is he the Pogba of the theatre scene at the moment, is he?
I wouldn't say Pogba. Maybe Mo Salah, maybe.
He's not contrary enough to be Pogba. No, yeah.
No. He did the game every week.
He did a good political answer there. Like, he should be a politician. That was a very good way he answered that question, though, Jim, wasn't it?
I think the line must have dropped there. I didn't hear it.
There's layers underneath him. And regarding Hecube, just described lovely. I read a number of the reviews, and a rich cultivated civilization destroyed by barbarian Greeks, smelling of goat shit and mackerel.
Wow, nice one.
Brian, did you get into that role very well? You did. You loved it. You did great with it.
That came naturally. That part of it.
And tell me, Brian, I want to ask you a serious question. I will get all serious for a second. Working with Jim and working with on the Red Iron, and again, there was a crowdfunding thing. We know all the financing and all that. I saw you on stage. You looked like to be really enjoying yourself, did you?
Yeah, well, it's when you get a role like that, and when you're involved in a play like that, it's the challenges like those that you live for in a lot of ways. Because just before you're going on, you're going, right, here we go, and you know you've got a mountain to climb with it. But that's a mountain you've been training to climb all your life, you know. So it's those challenges that you live for, and with Dog in the Red Iron, those parts, they don't come around very often, and so you do your best to relish it while you have that chance. And theatre is a thing that, you know, it happens for a few nights or a few weeks or a few months, and then it's gone. So you have to kind of remind yourself to live those moments as much as you can, you know.
Yeah, he was a good man to work with, I'm told, Jim. He didn't get contrary or anything like that, did he?
Well, do I have to answer that?
Of course, yeah. This is your tough political question now.
Yeah, Dots and I go back an awful long way, way into the early 80s, just before the start of Red Kettle. And I had the privilege of working with him before he went to Dublin and to London on a lot of shows. So we know each other very well. There'd be a lot of, you know, decent regard for each other, what we can bring and how we can help the other one as an actor or as a writer or as a director. He was a joy to work with. And it's worth saying, Damien, especially in these dark times, it's not 4 months ago since we did that show. It seems now like a lifetime, like a different planet.
Yeah,
but more important than that, a year ago, this time last year, we didn't have, if I may say, a pot to piss in with this play. And it was people like Dots, along with the other actors, and people like the 150 funded people, my colleagues, Pádraig Grief and Michael Grant, Mary Roach, and all of our sponsors who actually enabled that to happen. And it's a kind of reminder of, like, here we are a year on, we had a great success with it, and a wonderful sort of cap being put on that now with Dots' award. But a year ago we had nothing, and right now we're in a very dark place. And it's possible to be reminded today that we are going to get out of this, and that the theatre will be there too when things get better. So it's kind of like a little bit of a chink of light at a dark time. And it's just a reminder of what's possible, I suppose, is all I'd want to say about it.
Yeah, I was talking to an uncle of mine in Muswell Hill there just over the weekend, and he said this has been known as before COVID and after COVID. It's a phenomenal time, isn't it, Brian? Do you think, Brian, there's going to be plays written about this and movies?
I think inevitably it's going to leak into everything that we do and talk about for a while, you know. And who knows what ongoing repercussions there'll be down the line, you know. And then will it affect people's behaviour? Will people automatically go back to giving each other hugs and shaking hands and doing all that? That's all yet to be seen. But I think Jim makes a good point in that, you know, it will pass, and people will get together again, and their life will return, and maybe, I don't know, maybe there'll be more appreciation of some parts of us, and you look for the light where you can, don't you?
You do, yeah. I want you just to be thinking for a second as I asked Jim the final question, Brian. Be thinking of your couple of favourite lines now from the Red Iron, if you don't mind. Jim, as the Queen said last night, we will meet again. Are you writing? Are you thinking of doing something? Writing about this now?
Is that to me, Damien? I didn't hear the first part.
It is, Jim. Yeah. Are you thinking of writing anything about this? It's.
I'll tell you. Every day that Trudy and I go for a walk out here, and every day, I mean, somebody says you'll get a play out of this. And I kind of nod politely. But what I think is, can you imagine in a year's time, whenever the light sort of, gets brighter, and if a couple were, say, sitting at home on a Friday night saying, what will we do tonight? Let's go and see that play about the coronavirus. My inclination would be, no, let's go see something else. So I want my daughter Megan was actually writing about this in the New Statesman last week, and on the subject of how much will change and what will it be like when we come back. And she said she wanted things to be the same. She just wanted what she had, the ordinary things. And I'm not sure that me personally, I'm that interested in writing about this, but who knows? I have a little play tossing around in my head, and there isn't a corona thing near it, thankfully. And we'll see where that brings us. But right now, no, let's get rid of it and let's move on.
I think you're right. Brian, can you give us a couple of lines from the Red Iron? Anything that...
That's a terrible thing to spring on a man. I'll tell you what I'll do.
Go on.
WLR. There's a line where somebody mentions Liz Reddy.
Yes.
And Doug goes, good looking woman, Liz Reddy. And he's told to shut up. He said, I'm only saying, approachable too. I was talking to her during the radio a few nights back. She's wearing well.
And she's on.
Damien,
go on, Jim. Yeah.
Marina Carr won't beat that.
You're 100% right there. She's on this morning. I can't see her at the minute out the window, but I'd say she's laughing at that.
Very approachable.
Listen, Brian, congratulations. So many texts coming in. You're in trigonometry as well, and BBC Two, and well done. Listen, Brian Doherty, Dots, mind yourself and your family over there and take care, and congratulations again.
Thank you, Damien. Lovely to talk to you this morning.
Well done, Dots. And Jim Nolan, congratulations as well, and mind yourselves, okay? Yourself and Trudy and all the family. Take care, lads. Talk to you soon. Appreciate it. Appreciate you talking to me. Thank you very much for that. Lovely to talk to them, Brian Doherty, and he won, as you say, as we said, the Irish Times Theatre Award winner for Best Actor. Phenomenal performances around the country, in Dublin Fringe Festival, in so many different things, and by other actors. And for him to get that's a really, really strong award. So he won it for a combination of what he did in the Dublin Theatre Festival, and then also with playing the role of Dog in the Red Iron by Jim Nolan. And well done to Red Kettle Theatre Company with that. And just a little mention of, I suppose, the importance of how plays and theatre can play in that review of Hecaba. We watch ourselves watching as the characters themselves narrate, speak each other's lines, and generally engage in myth-making, or rather remaking. The effect of multiple points of view, of immediacy and distance, all intertwining, is utterly absorbing. And Dog was and is utterly absorbing, and Jim Nolan is an utterly absorbing playwright. Congratulations to all involved.